want to ask you, when was there a shift from maybe when you started in your field, in your industry, from doing the necessary work, some commission work, maybe some commercial work, to then moving to purpose driven work? Because there's a very big difference in filmmakers who are doing things that they're good at and people who were doing things that they were meant to do. So, how did you start? And was there a progression or a shift to get you to where you are today?
That's a beautiful question. I think for me, I would love to take credit and say that I, as an individual person, sculpted all this out, plotted it. And the truth is that that's not the case. I have done my best over the years to be open to what is moving through me at any given moment. And what I have found is that when I sit in silence and I listen, like really listen, and I ask the question, what is God calling me to do in this moment? What am I what am I called to? What am I made for? What is this moment asking of me? And then I sit without ego and without fear, without pride, and let the answer to that question flow through me, and I accept whatever that answer is. Then I always turn out to choose to put myself exactly where I'm supposed to be. I feel like the times I haven't been where I was supposed to be were the times when I forced it,
Right.
were the times when something in my ego, something in my mind thought, man, it sure will be great if I could do this, if I could accomplish this, if I could, earn this. I bet everyone would love me. I bet the world would bow before me. I bet this would earn me a lot of money. I bet this would open up, this would build my reputation in extraordinary ways. Every time I do that, every time I follow that voice, which is really a voice of fear, it's a voice of survival, it's a voice of separation, a sense that I'm by myself and I have to create my life, that I am the maker, I am the doer of my life. Every time I do that, it's like I jump out of a plane with no parachute. And I fall for a little while and it's like, woohoo! And then I crash onto the ground and it's disastrous. And my wife has to pick up all the pieces of my broken emotional psyche for a year. But every time I pause and I really listen and I flow, I never get the whole vision all at once. It's always just what's the next step? And then what's the next step? And then what's the next step? And now I go after that with a lot of it's this mix of flow and activation, because on one level I am flowing like water, which kind of has this beautiful feminine energy to it. Like I'm flowing and drifting and responding. But then there's this masculine activation energy to it as well that I'm also balancing, which is once I flow and the calling is clear, now I'm going to go after it. Now we're going to move towards it. And when I say masculine, feminine, I'm not talking about whether you're male or female. We all have access to that kind of energy in us. I think we're all a great balance of that. And so that's where it is for me. It's like, okay, I'm going to surrender. But once I feel the spirit move and the calling become clear, now we're going. Now we're moving. And now it's like, people can say what they want, do what they want. I'm like those, in the Blues Brothers, like I'm on a mission from God. Like, you know what I mean? Like this is, and so that's the thing that happens that's so powerful is once that gets clear, now the world can respond how they want. Your mother-in-law can say whatever she wants. The bank account can look however it wants. You can post your first thing on social media and get 0 views. That's fine. You weren't doing it for the views. You weren't doing it for the money. You weren't doing it for the validation of your mother-in-law. You're doing this from a higher place. And that ends up becoming an anchor that allows you to not only have the grounding, but the energy to keep moving forward, even when you feel the resistance, even when your nervous system starts to respond with fear or there's a trigger that comes up. You can move through that because you know that this calling is attached to something that's bigger than you as Brett Culp or Neal Oates Jr. or whatever your name is. You're a beautiful flower, but this calling is part of the bigger field of nature you're involved in. That's more important than just this little individual speck in the ground you are.